Hello, everybody. Welcome to Enjoy the Show. It's so wonderful to have you all here. And today we have got Brian and I. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Judy.
That was so weird. Do that again.
Judy, when am I not weird? You got to be used to my weirdness.
I like it, but I like the little, I really like the little nuances. That was one I hadn't heard yet, so I liked it. Thanks.
Don't worry. I'll keep them coming. Hello,
right.
Chat room. Hello, everyone listening. Oh, God, I'm so happy to be here today, Judy. It's going to be a great show.
Woohoo! Somebody's got high energy today. And welcome, Carmel. Carmel's back today, everybody. Yeehaw!
Hi, everyone. Hello. Thanks for having me back. It's nice to be here to
cool.
play again.
Yeah, I think today we're going to have, we're going to have kind of a free-flowing conversation, and, we'll definitely take phone calls along the way, and probably, I was going to say more in the half an hour, but the second hour, but the minute I say that, I'll probably, want to break my rule because it's a rule. So forget that.
No rules, Judy. You know better.
No rules. Got it. All right. Fine. So I think today, this change is happening so fast. This shift is just like rolling in like a runaway train. And I know that you're all feeling it. You're all going through your own personal version of whatever is this looks like to you. And I think today would be like a really great talk about this, just energetically how it feels and what it's doing and how we can take some of the things that may feel a little bit less than buoyant and maybe turn them around and, see them in a different way. So if any of you have, something that you're going through like that you want to talk about on here, please do. Call in. The phone number to call in is 646-716-4598. And then when you call in, you'll be prompted to press 1 on your phone, and that shows me that you're ready to talk. So you can be in the queue, and I can pull you on, and we can discuss this. I'd love to have you call in and join the conversation. And now I'm going to let you go for it, one of the two of you. Because I'm done. I'll see y'all later.
Oh, God. You gotta love the ad-lib nature of these shows. So much. Okay, Carm, the show is yours. What do you have to say?
Yes. I don't think anybody has come through the last couple of weeks without noticing some of the changes within themselves and their immediate relationships and situations, etc. Things are happening really fast. Opportunities are opening up really quickly, I think. I read it the way I experience it.
I have a question for you, Carm, actually, and I'm sorry to cut you off because it's something that came up in our talk from yesterday in the Collective Imagination, and we were asking people if they could talk about the biggest shifts that they've experienced in their life in the last year. Can you speak to the biggest changes that you've undergone, the biggest transformations in your life? I have a serious echo.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, you work on that while Carm answers.
Personally, my own experience, and the recent past is, of course, the one that's the biggest. The one you just went through is the biggest. So I'd have to say that, I kind of, I've been doing everything everybody else is doing. That kind of, the undulation of the frequencies within ourselves. Some days we're humming low, and some days where the frequency is a little bit high, and we're all over the place, and things are popping like crazy. Myself personally, this all taking your responsibility for your now presence has become a very real thing in my life. It's actually very real, and we're really powerful creatures, and we test it. We push that. I know I do. I push that envelope, see how far I can go. I push that envelope to see what I'm really thinking, what I really want sometimes.
Well, and I think we're really, really, really being tested with all of that right now. I think I think this is a clearing, cleansing time. I think this is this is the refining of our energies. We're being tested to see just how much it is that we are focused on what it is that we truly want, and how easily we can get swayed off of that by the energies that are that are coming in.
Well, also, along with my own self-tests that I have been undergoing recently, like everyone else, I'm also noticing changes in the relationships around me that I was hoping would stay, but I was prepared if they weren't going to. But you send them all love, and you wish everyone well, and I put the pink light around everybody, no matter what they're doing. And I'm watching healing taking place just without me having to stick my fingers in it, without me having to say anything, just based on what I've been wanting to see with my loved ones. And I'm actually seeing those changes. So as hard as it has been for me personally, and I know for people around me, I'm also seeing things healing. And that is like, that dual-edged sword of truth. It's glorious. But it's, it's getting to be where every moment is so important.
Right. It's like you got to walk through the fire to get to the other side and have that purified.
Yeah. You can't weigh this one's more important than the last one or the next one. Right. Each one is equally important, and each one really requires your presence and your love within that presence. So we've been talking a lot this month about self-love. In circles of people that I speak with, and I know I've been hearing it from you all, in your circles of conversations on air, etc. So I think that the hardest thing for me, the hardest hurdle was really coming to terms with what self-love really meant for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not alone in that, but it's, each one of our stories are quite unique in how we're grasping that and standing up. So I feel pretty I won't say immortal, but even though I know I am, but I feel like nothing can touch me. It's just really.
It can't get much better than that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Maggie said a little while ago. She said she feels happy, but she feels like she's been run over by a truck.
I know that feeling.
I do too. I was like, oh, ding, ding, ding.
And then, there's a little bit of the melancholy of letting that old paradigm go away. The things that we used to know as being our life, our lifestyle, the norm, the things that you do for tradition, quote unquote, And there's a little bit of me when I think back, and I'm having a lot of flashbacks, lots of them. I don't know about anybody else, lots of them, and they're all completely whole sensorial. I smell, I can taste, I can hear, I can feel in these memories. And I used to hear theories of people going back and rewriting unpleasant moments for themselves in their mind and thus making it healed and so, and I never understood how that happened until I finally started to take accountability for my now presence. You can go back anytime you want and change anything you want. So I'm really happy, and I'm really tired at the same time. And life is getting to be an exciting adventure, one now at a time. Jeez, you just never know who's going to knock on the door.
Mm-hmm.
Or who's going to ring you, or who's going to send you an email, or who you're going to bump into when you go off to do some errands. It's been really interesting. And
how about you, I'm sorry, Carmen. Go ahead and finish off.
Oh, I'm done. I said, and fun.
Oh, and fun. Yeah, that's a big one. Not on this show, though. We try to avoid having fun at all costs on the Enjoy show.
Yeah, it's kind of illegal here, so don't mess with the police.
It's our only rule. Yeah. Our only rule is don't have
Joy
fun.
Police, they're
don't have fun.
Fierce.
Don't enjoy yourself. Right. It's all a farce. How about you, Judy? What's the biggest transformation? You were part of the conversation from yesterday. What are the biggest shifts and transformations with you over the course of the last year? Think back to August 7th. 2012, not that specific date, of course, but around the last quarter of 2012, all the way to present day. What's been going on with you?
I can probably sum it up in one sentence, and then I could expand. But I feel like I found my family. my wider family. I have family around where I live, as far as, not just my family, but my family, chosen family and friends that, I've created over the years with my group and all of that. But this is like a huge expansion of that. I feel like finally I found the path that will take me to the place that is taking me to the place that I'm meant to be going. I feel completely aligned on that path and comfortable within it. And I'm just rolling with what's going, and however it feels one day to the next. Right now, I feel strangely placid. Almost placid.
A good word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird because I'm not usually placid. I'm pretty, buoyant and bubbly, and
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what placid means. I know there's a Lake Placid somewhere.
Yeah, it means calm and serene almost. It's quiet. It's a quiet water, so no wind blowing on it. It's placid.
That's different from stagnant.
True. True.
Very different.
Placid is alive, stagnant is sweltering and gross. But yeah, that's how I'm at this moment, and leading up to this moment. And wow, thank you for having me walk through that, because that was really nice, and it was really important. And it's interesting because Simon came up with something a little while ago. He mentioned, he's like, what do we want? Which is a really wonderful conversation. And I know that, some of the other shows are going into that, but that could be a really fun topic for, a show coming up soon if we don't get to it today,
Why not? We can get to it right now.
Yeah. Well, wait a second. I want to back up and roll that question right over to you too. We've got to
Hey! These questions are one way,
buddy.
sweetheart.
Back up.
You watch yourself over there.
That's my question, young man.
Okay, so the question is, my original question that you repeated back to me, let's see, was, what kind of shifts and transformations have I been undergoing over the last 12 months? Gosh, how much time do we have? I feel like, mini rant. Okay. Well,
you know what they're calling you right now, don't you?
What do they call me?
It's Bri Rant.
Oh God. I'm ready for a change of pace from Mr. Giggles.
It's Bri Rant. I forget which girl. It was one of the girls in the show last night on the
I think
chat.
I saw that.
It might have been Maggie. I'm not sure, but it was.
Thank you. I'll do my best for a rant. Well, what's really interesting is when I rewind the tape and I look back, I'm pretty new to this awakening scene. I mean, I've had moments throughout my life where I feel like I've had breakthroughs, but my huge awakening didn't happen until circa 2010, mid 2010. So I'm a baby to a certain extent on this journey. Some of us out there that stories that I've heard, people that have been on this kind of path of awakening and discovering their self and who they are. One of the first things that I found that was kind of very out of the box for me was Self-Realization Fellowship and Paramahansa Yogananda, who is the yogi from India who brought yoga to the West and kind of had a whole combining of the Eastern and Western ideologies and a very open-minded approach to spirituality and religion, very tolerant and accepting. And during this mass awakening that I had in 2010, I mean, it was fast and it was extremely intense, but incredibly empowering. And I became really just kind of hooked and addicted on discovering who I am and how I fit into this universe, and really what is this universe and what is this life and what is the meaning, for myself that I can apply to guide my own journey of going within. And it's taken so many since then in 2010. It's taken so many twists and turns many of which I would have never predicted in a million years. But over the course of the last 12 months, if I thought that I had seen it all, if looking back on it now, I would tell myself then that I ain't seen nothing yet. And because the last 12 months have been a total breaking down and redesigning everything that I thought I knew about myself, everything that I thought I believed, my whole idea of what beliefs are, completely shattering, only to be redrawn and rewritten, sometimes multiple times throughout the course of a day or a week. And then all of a sudden, December 25th, when Heather came and stumbling into my life, when we got that email and the whole One People's Public Trust thing started, it's only magnified and increased exponentially as far as my own personal benchmarks and opportunities for growth and opportunities for expansion. I think the last 6 months have really, if I could pick one word to describe it all, I think I'd probably choose expansion, because it's exactly what it was. I mean, where I am now in this moment, that's been a culmination of everything I've been doing for the last 6 months, and especially since I got back from Morocco, is just like Carm said, I view life as this great adventure now. And this great adventure of each moment and each experience in each moment. And I feel like if anybody's ever seen that movie with Kevin Spacey, American Beauty, and they have that scene where the guy's filming the plastic bag, and it's filming this, and this bag's just kind of dancing in the wind and just kind of going from here to there, and just kind of just going wherever the wind takes it, but never really hitting the ground or staying, getting stuck under anything or what have you. I feel like that. I feel like a feather that's just kind of floating without really a care, a concern, a worry, a fear, anger, any kind of lower vibrational energies that make us feel stuck sometimes. I feel like that, and I look at my life now more from the perspective of I'm in a video game, and there's not really anything that can knock me over. And there's not really anything that can really drag me down. I have moments where I'm tired, where I'll sleep for 9, 10, 11 hours, and I wake up and I feel a little bit groggy. But it's not like getting into that state brings me into a funk, because I truly view life as this great adventure now, where each moment is precious, and each moment you have no idea what could happen, and you release all expectations and all attachments, and trying to do all sorts of planning to try to shape, reality. I've realized that the plan that the universe has for me is going to be way better than any plan that I could make for myself. And that's been the most liberating realization, because it's allowed me to truly be free from everything that's trying to distract me. There's nothing that I feel like there's nothing that can get in my way, and there's nothing that can knock me down. And I'm that guy on that roller coaster that's like, hands up, baby, woo! Just like, and all I want to do, Bryrant, yes, original. All I want to do is I want to share that with people, and I'm inspired by talks that Judy, with your story about how you had all those fascinating conversations at your daughter's work from the other day, because you shared a piece of yourself that stuck with people. It wasn't surface level conversation. It wasn't everyday chit chat. There was depth. It was taking people on a journey and being authentic and being genuine and sharing that originality that you have with others. And I do that, but I also shelter my conversations more than I probably should, because I don't know. I get that I go into that place where I don't really know if this person can handle.
Oh my God, Brian, that's the card that was the one that I showed you, that was the subconscious one. That the girl sitting there with all of her gifts right in front of her and not using them, and that was like a subconscious thing. That's exactly what that was.
Yep. Yep, and that's something that I'm working on, and it's something I'm getting better and better at. And but it's definitely not something that comes natural. For me on these shows, it's nothing. I can sit here, we could talk for hours, and I don't think twice about it. But when I'm out with that person who's there's a quote that I memorized, and let me see if I can remember it. It says a truth's initial commotion is directly proportionate to how deeply the lie was believed. It's not the world being round that caused discomfort. It's that the world wasn't flat. When a well-packaged web of lies is sold to the masses over generations, the truth seems utterly preposterous, and its speaker a raving lunatic.
Wow. Wow, that was pretty profound.
And I forced myself to memorize that quote because it's so representative of how there's still a great percentage of the population that they want to know what's going on in the world. They turn on CNN.
Right.
They go to church. They talk to their friends or what have you.
Or they sit in a sports bar and watch sports all afternoon.
Watch sports, yeah. And there's not a whole lot of exposure to a lot of the conversations that we have. So I need to be able to, the thing is that I learned from you, Judy, is you have these dialogues in a way that people can relate to them at first, and you just get a nice, honest conversation going, and then you just proceed on as allow it to manifest and to grow, but just continue to speak your truth. And it doesn't matter whether people want to whether they want to challenge you, whether they don't believe you, whether they think you're a raving lunatic, or whether they're going to give you all sorts of judgment. The response really, it doesn't matter, because it's not like
that.
Yeah.
On some level, but I also absolutely expect that they want to hear this. Because it's who they are. They need the remembering. So I go into my life every single day, wherever it is that I go with, and it's not that I talk to somebody every single day, but when I go out and somebody is in my space and they're sitting down with me to have a conversation, there's no doubt in my mind that they want to know something that is, going to come out of me. And I mean, seriously, and it's very organic. So it's not that I plan anything. It just does. It flows, and it's usually right on, and I know sometimes that people don't, always go, oh my gosh, that's just perfect. A lot of times they're like, well, that sounds really wonderful, but I really believe differently, especially the born agains that I've found myself in conversation. But the cool thing is I know I planted a seed because I know I've left them with a few things to think about that they couldn't answer for themselves in their box of knowledge.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and it's great, isn't it? Doesn't it feel awesome when you can it's almost like for example, like I was when I was up for doing my spending my time with my grandmother before she passed, a conversation with my uncle, and he's an open-minded born again Christian. He understands what the essence of God is, and it's not about judgment, it's not about the wrath of God, it's not about who's going to heaven and who's going to hell for him. So he's got an open mind, but I was able to find common ground with the work that I'm doing by helping him to he's one of those guys like Bob, he knows the Bible inside and out. So I got him like all excited over finding all the that points to all that all of our work, everything that we're doing, all these conversations is so indicative of, because this is really kind of the first thing that I became very fascinated about was the whole idea of a shift in consciousness. And the whole idea of, understanding that ancient civilizations from all around the world, the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Hopis, the Syrians, and countless others, all pointed to this time. They had no connection with each other. They all pointed to this time as being a time of great change. And Greg Braden said they called it, in their own language, in their own tongue, the shift of the ages. And to me, that was fascinating. I said, wait a second, you have all these people from different cultures from around the world that had nothing to do with each other, no email, no texting, no internet to share ideas, but they all pointed at the circa 2012 era as being a shift of the ages, as being a shift from fear to love, from dark to light. And that is what kind of propelled me into my journey. And so the common ground that I found with my uncle is he was able to go back, and it was fascinating to me. He was able to point out to me all the different places in the Bible that talks about the those who are all about financial gain are going to lose their power to the masses, and it was just so, and that's of course. But,
well, yeah, Bob brought a couple of those out last night that were just perfection.
Yes. Oh my God! And so
those are the least become the whatever.
Then it's basically a change of the tides. Going from those who have stolen power to those who are going to be empowered and love thy neighbor as thyself, and humanity waking up to realize that it is unity. We are all one. We are all made of the same cosmic stardust. We are all brothers and sisters on this planet. There's a beautiful Vimeo video of interviewing astronauts when they go up into space for the first time, and they all thought that it was going to be, Star Trek, The Great Frontier, outer space, and their biggest profound moments were looking out the window back at planet Earth, and the spiritual awakenings that they had that came about as a result of seeing the Earth from that perspective, of seeing this big blue and green shining ball, where we're all together. We're one civilization of this planet. We've been sucked into this whole divide and conquer. Here's where my country line and city line and state line starts, and we do things in our culture, and this is how you do things, and war and tyranny and greed and all of these things that have plagued our society for so long, now to the point where it's coming to an end. Freaking A, hallelujah. Like, if that's not exciting, I do not know what is. And there's a lot of people that they feel that there's a lot of changes going on. They look at CNN and they see popes quitting for the first time in 660 years. They see, the financial market crashing. They see, various situations and events that are unprecedented in our society, the world economy, the world society, and they see that means that there's great change, but they are still missing the context of it all and how deep it all really goes.
They're still believing the old system. That's what's going on. They're still buying in. They're still, thinking that that this is somehow still just BS, and that the old system, just because it's all they know, it's the devil you do know as opposed to the devil you don't know, and that's what's going on with a lot of people. It's like I'm too busy just trying to make ends meet right now to even, consider what you're saying, because if I take my hand off of the steering wheel, it's going to crash.
Yeah.
And so that's where people like us, all of us come in. And each of us has our own job to do. I'm not saying everybody's, got to do that, but, a lot of us, Carmel, what is it that you call us? What is the term that you use? It's not the way showers, but
awesome joy junkies.
No, it's translator. She calls it a translator. To me, it's it's whatever it is. I'm a way shower. I'm a paradigm buster for sure. I'll tell you what. There's no place that I go, no matter where it is, that something doesn't change in the lives of the people around. And it's not that anything that I try to do. It's the energy that I hold and the energy that I carry. It is what I'm. It's my energy signature. It's what I do.
Can you explain what you mean by that, translator, Carm?
Well, channeling. Everybody channels. Everybody has a certain amount of psychic ability. Perception from beyond the illusory world. And when I see something, when imagery comes to me, or when I'm working with the tools that I use, it could be tarot, it could be numerology, it could be I Ching, It could just be sitting outside and listening to the trees, but there's data in front of you all the time. And when you find a way to take the image, the message in the image, or the information that you get out of seeing something happening in when you're through your open eyes, which don't exist, through your open eyes, the reflection shows you something. Taking that imagery, taking that information, and putting it into words so that you can digest it. And and as you're digesting it, as you're ruminating on it, you talk to your friends. You talk to other people. When you're studying the tarot or when you're studying any of those translation tools, those are experiential journeys. Every card in the tarot deck is an experiential journey. It's the path of human existence.
Right, and it means something different wherever it's placed, and with each one of the cards that it's around, it has a different nuance to it.
Sure, there's modifications of one situation to the next, or a number card to a key card, and understanding the symbolic value of what that means. And when you get that, there's a picture in your head, and when you get that picture, a translator finds the words, the emotion, the empathy to relay that information outwardly again in a new form. It's like they're like drawings. Like you'll see somebody, but then you'll draw it. It's not a photograph; it's a drawing, and the drawing is a translation. So translation is a broad term, but it means one thing: turning one language into another.
Yeah, and with this, what we're doing is doing that, but we're doing that with a great degree of intuition, and from a very deep place of communicating with spirit and allowing to come through the channel that we're using ourselves, actually, and through the tools.
Right, but if we don't have you must have still an empty cup in order to be filled, and that's the self, and some of us are having a placid moment. I like that, and some of us are in the throes of excitement, and that's really wonderful too. It takes both to keep this place reflecting, responsive, experiential. So that self-love, that self-knowing, that self-allowing, I think allows us to be, for ourselves, better translators. There was a time where I just stopped translating. I just stopped because I said, no, people need to learn how to hear these things and see these. They're right there in front of you. All you got to do is open your eyes and stop having your tantrum. Now, everybody has a tantrum every once in a while. Everybody has a spiritual tantrum where they push them to see how far they can go, and again, try to decide what it is they're really wanting. Fortunately, your higher self has a way of prohibiting, bumping you into the direction you really, really do want to go. So where you think you need to go and see this person today at 10 o'clock, and traffic is backed up, and then there's a blockade because they're fixing the road, and then you get detoured, and you don't get there till, an hour later, and the guy is gone. You have to stop. Instead of throwing a tantrum and screaming in the car and road rage, just getting all out of control that you're not in control. Realize that once you put forth an intention to do something, you have to trust that your highest good will make sure that it happens in perfection and in perfect timing. So I think a lot of the calmness that I know that I'm experiencing right now is simply a release and an allowing of my to just have the experience of one now after another without too much excitement or falling into boredom. You don't want to. You want to kind of maintain that balance, and all systems of balance, whether those be energetic, physical systems, or any of the manifestational process, there has to be a balance before what it is you're looking for comes into view, and it's harmonious with what it is you're actually wanting versus trying to force a square peg into a round hole. So we're getting past that point where we're trying to control everything, and we're realizing that if we just chill and be happy right now. And
be the feather. I like that, Brian.
What a profound breakthrough that is, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and because things in the universe is designed for things not to be not to be necessary that they be forced. If you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're exerting too much force, it's probably because you are, and it very well may be an indicator that you're trying too hard. You know, the whole idea of the example that you just mentioned, all that was so well said about, you know, being late to a meeting and, you know, you could throw a temper tantrum or you could let it go, is what a beautiful lesson that is, because when you truly have the ability to go through life where you are kind of operating in a state of surrender, then when you're late for that meeting, or when you get a flat tire on the side of the road, or you get in that argument with your friend, or you don't get that job, or you lose, or any one of a million different things that could happen to you that, you know, back in the day you could see yourself just absolutely losing it. When you have the ability to be in that moment, in that present moment, and know, I missed this meeting because I was supposed to.
Absolutely.
This flat tire saved me from getting in a car accident down the track. This argument that I had with this friend is going to lead to a better relationship with them and with a higher level of understanding, or they're going to take away something from this exchange that's for their greater growth. And you can start to accept everything that comes your way in life, no matter how it looks, no matter what it smells like, no matter how it feels, or no matter how it makes you feel inside. All of that combined, all inclusive. You truly are free, because you know that your life is so guided that it's only in life. They say, what do they say? That you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond to it. I believe that 50%, because in life we manifest everything that happens to us in some way, shape, or form. True. We bring it about, right? So we can control it, but if it is something that we manifest in our life for our greatest growth that maybe just doesn't feel like it feels all that good at the time, but it's still for our greatest growth, we have the ability to control how we respond to it. And that is what gives us the ability to see things from a bigger picture and experience the growth in real time, as opposed to have to wait to sometime down the track and look back on it in retrospect and then say, okay, now I get it.
Well, the other thing is, forgetting that the linear perception of the time reality is real. When everything's happening all at one time, that's a large bite, go from being completely focused and absorbed into the mirror of the outer world reality. We're listening to, I have Joy and I have Brian here in front of me, but they're just simply reflections of me, and I'm having a conversation with myself. So no matter where and I'm learning to do this with everybody. No matter where I go out there, I have to stop and look at, the woman who's giving me, a funny look because she doesn't like something, she's judging. But, looking at that person and going, okay, so what am I judging about myself right now that I'm seeing this person looking at me like that? It really, everything that you experience comes from you. And
absolutely. I think that is so incredibly important to understand that and to make that be kind of a constant mantra of, checking yourself when you're finding yourself judging others or feeling a certain way about, a certain person or something that's going on. Because when you look inside, that's when you're going to find the answers. It's not always easy to do that. It's not always easy to go there. But it is an important thing to do. It's probably one of the absolute most important things you can do.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
What you're living is your responsibility. You brought it there. You put it there. You held it there. You made the rules. You validated the fears. So, expecting somebody else to take those away just because they open up a financial system, that's not going to heal the things you're refusing to look at when you're not acknowledging that your beliefs, what you believe about yourself, is how you go about your day and the kind of conversations that you have and the kind of opportunities that you bring towards you. So self accountability is quite freeing. It's quite freeing because you've let everybody else off the hook. There's nobody else you have to worry about controlling, because it comes directly from you, as a spark of source.
Yeah, you know what I found, Carm, and I totally agree with you 1,000%. And not the easiest thing to own up to when you're first learning about reflection and everything being a mirror. And that's definitely one of those things that, you're having a conversation with someone and, they're let's just say maybe new to this dialogue, and trying to convince them that, everything that happens in their life that they see as being the victim, that it's actually all of it is a function of their own creation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I pull that into my tarot readings as well because, it is a major part of the energy signature of a person is, what's going on outside is always a reflection of what's going on inside. And it's a wonderful, wonderful way to get people to shift the way they think. Because honestly, so many people that I've done readings for that have, never really heard much of any of this kind of lingo or thought form, they, because it comes in the way that it comes in, they tend to understand it, which I find just beautiful and amazing.
Bobby Peck just sent me a Facebook. He's going to get a hoot that I'm going to read this live on the air. He said, you're talking about the waking up. Oh, dang it. Somebody sent me a message and covered it up. You're talking about the waking up of the observer and how being in the moment results from, dang it, stop sending me messages. And how being in the moment results from being in that state. There is no other way. Every person, place, and thing you encounter is you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Nice job, Bobby.
You have to just love that and be accountable and relax. Relax your belly. Relax your heart. Take a breath. Relax. Oh, yeah. It's like, where's the fire?
Let's all take a deep breath together. Ready, everyone? On 3. 1, 2, 3. I like to sigh, exhale. Feels good, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Because
it
there's never anything wrong in the present moment right now.
That's
unless
so
it's
true.
unless you're standing in front of a oncoming train or something along that. Step out of the way, of course, but there's never anything wrong right now. Only our minds make it so. No problem exists outside of the mind.
That's right.
So we have the ability to create conflict, to pay energy into the idea that this is conflict, that this is negative, that this is wrong, that this shouldn't be happening. Or you can take that breath and say, everything is as it is, all is well, and all will be well. That's a choice.
Right.
Yeah, and that choice point is really incredibly important right now. We have so many choices to make, and, everything that comes into our thoughts, we choose to decide, is that my thought, really? Is that mine? Or is that from something that I learned, or that, came from my parents, or came from church, or came from a teacher, or a friend, or an enemy, or whatever? Most, if not all, is.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to the place where you are the observer of those thoughts and you decide to clear and clean out the cupboard, so to speak, all of a sudden you've got quiet in there. And so what you're doing with that quiet is you're listening to your body, you're listening to your intuition, you're getting that still small voice that guides you and lets you be that beautiful little feather that's flying in the wind and be okay with it.
Right, the observer. When the observer kicks in, you Brian likened it to playing a video game. I liken it similarly. It's just a program I'm running. When I start getting hairy in my head, and I start projecting and imagining things that are going on, and they are projections and imagining. Having to stop, being able to say, thank gosh, here I have the wherewithal to be able to say, because I didn't always. I knew I should be doing that, but I never gave myself permission to do it. And in doing so, there was more anxiety about letting it go. But I think it's easier to pull the weeds out of the garden now. I think it's a much more gentle job. We're not yanking. We don't need a bush hog to get through our stuff anymore. That was the 70s and 80s, and 90s. And now we're on to realizing that I am another yourself, really. Opening up our space a little bit to recognize that the people in the mirror are just simply reflecting back everything that we are. And if we're seeing love, trying to pre-pave in the morning when you're doing your intention work, your daily intentions. It is my intention to reflect the beauty and the love that I see around me, that I know is around me. Mm-hmm. And the surprises come. Doing that pre-paving in the morning, you set that intention.
Well, that's a really interesting thing that you just brought up there, sorry to interrupt you, sweetie.
Okay.
That you want to reflect the beauty around you. My understanding is that you are the beauty and it reflects around you.
Well, that's good. Let's get a good reverb going because I can take all the beauty that I can see.
That you are. You are it.
And I'm reflecting that beauty back. I like the way that image sounds to me.
Yeah, you are the beauty, and it reflects around you from inside. Everything that happens in our lives is a reflection of what we hold inside of ourselves, the beliefs about ourselves, the beliefs about the world. They all reflect outside of us. How perfect is that? I mean, you can't go wrong.
No, you can't. And you go into any situation that you feel is scary because it's built on old-time belief system rules and agreements, which are, dissolving and don't make any sense and probably never made any sense, and you're just kind of coming to terms and trying to worm your way out of an agreement you didn't know you made. And you can think of a million different situations in any given day that's part of. But, stopping and saying, okay, I need to do this with love right now, first of all, for me, because I don't want to upset me anymore. I don't want to deliberately internalize things that are just going to prohibit me from having fun.
Who are you at the base of who you are? At the absolute core, who are you? You are that. You are love.
Joy,
that's a good point.
Bringing your joy forward and making sure that you make the intentions to do that every day actually pays off. It really does, and you get these delightful surprises that you couldn't, like you said, Brian.
Surely, all the time.
All the time. Couldn't possibly have dreamed up. It was like the farthest thing from your mind, and you never even looked at it that way. But somewhere along the line, in your wishings, in your thought pattern, you set into law of attraction, the law of allowing, the law of manifestation, the law of time, etc. The laws of the universe kick into action so that you can see the manifestations of your thoughts. Now, we like that when it has to do with toys and vacation. It really...
It's just when it happens the other way that
right. It really thinks when we're left sitting there with our own, sitting in our own diaper, basically.
Our dirty diaper.
Exactly. So, what we're looking at on the global scene is really just us realizing we have a dirty diaper. We're trying to figure out where the clean diaper is and the wipes. And we're trying to find a clear place to sit down and take care of this. And it will be taken care of. But it's really our own dirty diaper that we're dealing with in the macrocosm. That's the reflection of how we're, and all the revolts that you're seeing are definitely going on within the individuals. All those little wars and fires and storms are definitely going on within the individuals. I've actually heard many other translators of this last couple of weeks speaking exactly to that. They're watching the sun. They're watching lots of other planetary activities, and they're likening it to what's happening within the individual. People want to know which comes first, the chicken or the egg, where consciousness comes first and creativity comes after. Mm-hmm. So, there it is.
Well, and here's another thing I think is really absolutely. I think absolutely. I'm also finding it really interesting right now in a almost funny way that the powers that wish they still were are trying to create all of this fear around things that are no big deal. Like NASA comes out with this. The sun is about to flip its poles, and oh my gosh, I've seen just about everybody and their brother and sister and cousin and grandma post that on Facebook in the last couple of days, and it's like, hey dudes, it happens every 11 years.
I actually posted that, and
oh, I think I did too.
One of my followers, Savinia, she likened it to fear mongering on behalf of NASA. But yeah, you're right. It only happens 11 years. But the cool part about the sun activity, is when you, and this is awesome because it does totally apply to ourself and our own consciousness. There's been studies done on solar activity. And the moments throughout our history, we've actually been following, believe it or not, solar activity since I think like 1500. And when you go back in history, I realize it's all the present moment now, Carm. So before you can correct me on that, when you go back into history and you look at the solar cycles, you find that all the biggest events and revolutions and the Dark Ages and the Renaissance and all these things happened at either the highest or lowest points in solar activity. And the sun right now is at its maximum peak because it's right now this polar flip is marking the middle point of its maximum peak of solar activity in the entire life of this star that we call the sun. And if you can look at that and then look at the events that are happening on the world right now and tell me that there's nothing going on.
No, I totally believe that there's something going on. It's just that NASA is trying to make it, kind of imply that it's like the world kind of thing. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's more than NASA. I mean, if you stick your face out there, you could see 100 different bits of fear porn.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting to this place where I'm looking at that, and if I've been taking care of myself, and you kind of have to acknowledge your presence and your corporeal presence there. But when I'm not taking care of myself, and I'm tired, and I look at those things, oh man, it's like I get sucked right in. I may only be 10 minutes, and sometimes it's a couple of hours. But if I feel myself starting to feel terrible because of these things, I eventually really have to take consciousness back into my own hands and go, wait a minute, I know what that is. That's just a test. That was a test of my emergency joy system. And I've been talking lately about Abraham's game of which feels better. It's my favorite friend these days because it's really... It makes it fun. You have to laugh. You got to laugh. You're looking at something and it's not making you feel so good. So you go, okay, I can either look at this or I can turn and look at another thing that makes me feel wonderful, or deliberately turn off all of the access to news for a little while so that you can warm up to yourself in your joy. You can live unprovoked for a few days. I give you permission to not stick your hand in the fire if you don't want to. Rest for a few days. Cut off all mainstream. Go outside and play with the birds and the trees. Play with your family. Take a walk by yourself. Go to the beach. It's really wonderful when you have. AK posted a Chiron today, was it yesterday, from a March talk that they did, translation, and he touched on just about everything that I've been and everybody else has been going through, and he mentioned how the grandparents were going to have a special affinity towards the new babies because they will recognize the energy, the presences that are. Now, I got to tell you that this has been happening to me, and as a numerologist, I'm getting calls from grandmothers to do their newborn grandchildren's charts, which is a trip, because these babies are having full-on conversations. And the grandmothers are recognizing it. So my grandson was over today, and things are popping, and they really are. They're popping for everybody. Things are changing for everybody. So it's maintaining your cool, and that's hopefully in your joy, and I got to play with him, and he's just going to be 2, just in a couple of days. And he loves art, and he loves to draw, and he loves to try to speak. And one of the things that I was able to do with him today, as he's approaching an age where he's willing to cooperate with fun things, with games, with new suggestions, I got him to lay down on a giant piece of butcher block, and he was hysterical. He was like, he hugged that piece of paper. He laid down on that piece of paper, and we splayed his little fingers and toes so I could make a silhouette of him, a full-body silhouette of him. He laid still. He was completely present with the crayon as it went all around his body. He was having the thrill of his life, at that particular moment. He was having this when he got up and he saw this picture of himself, this silhouette of himself laying in front of him, he started to jump up and down and squeal.
Aww.
These are the little things you look for. It doesn't have you don't have to go out there and look for rocket science. You don't have to go out there and look for another way to explain it to somebody else. You don't have to go out there and work so hard. You can take those delightfully juicy little nows. And this was an unexpected visit this morning, but a few days ago I said, in the ethers, I miss you. I said to him in the ethers, I miss you. I'd like to play with you again sometime. Will you help me make the arrangement? And the kid walked right into my door.
Oh, I love that. That reminds me of a conversation I had with Bob recently about making things happen, and how you need to ask the earth, you need to ask the elements around you, to cooperate. Ask them to guide you and open the path and to meet you and, and provide. And I love that. That's something that I don't think I've really played with much, other than, I think I do it, but not as as
consciously
is possible. So I'm really looking forward to playing with that.
I love the baby story because it reminds me of how important it is to remember that life was designed to be fun and to have fun. And we knew that as kids. We came into this world knowing that all we came here to do is to have fun, enjoy ourselves, and for the experience of and however ultimately it whatever we got to do to maintain that sense of having fun, that sense of being happy, that sense of being enjoyed. And we've lost that along the way. And we all know why. Because of all of these systems that are in place to kind of hijack that from us at a very early age, and that's indicative of where we are right now. Is people are realizing that the working the 9-to-5 job that they can't stand, the monotony of doing the exact same thing week in and week out, and having little glimpses of fun and joy here and there just isn't working anymore. It's just not working anymore.
Yeah,
people are not.
Having those little glimpses of fun is much better than having zero glimpses of fun. So anybody who is having those little moments where they're actually recognizing those joy, it's like, grab that with both hands and don't let it go.
Yep.
Stay
Absolutely.
with it.
when I talked about it in my journey into the Sahara Desert, when I was out in the Sahara, we had just gotten out to the tents, and the sun was setting, and it was just the most beautiful, majestic, and just magical place. One of the most magical places I've been in my life, and I was sitting there, just sitting in the sand. I had my hands dug in, and I found myself just so elated of just the experience of where I was. And I told I made a point to tell the universe, and I said it out loud. I said, universe, like very, very, kind of very stern, but with love, universe, this is what I want. This is what I want more of.
That's what I'm talking about.
This feeling right now. And it heard, and it's been a sequence of those feelings ever since then. And that moment right there where I made that proclamation, that covenant with myself and with the universe, it changed my life forever, because we don't necessarily want to, and we've talked about this before on shows, probably not this show. It's not things that we want in life. It's not necessarily, I want this job, I want this marriage, I want this much money. We want what those things will make us feel. Exactly. We want them because we think it'll make us feel good. We think it'll make us feel happy. We think it'll bring us joy. Right. So it's those feelings that we want. So when we tell the universe, when we have those feelings, this is what I want more of this, and you pay energy into it, then you automatically set the stage to attract more of that very, very feeling into your life.
Well, and please don't forget gratitude, because when you catch yourself, I think that's incredibly important to speak to the universe, like we were talking about, but also to, when you catch yourself being happy, be in gratitude. Thank you. Yes, this is it. Thank you. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And even, I tell people when they have that negative self-talk, that, really it's incredibly important for you to be very gentle on yourself when you're going through that. Because if you catch yourself having negative self-talk and you go, God, I just did it again. Damn, when am I going to get this right? As opposed to, caught myself. Very good. Good job. Right. Yay, caught it.
Right, which feels better? Talking myself right down into the ground again, berating myself for having forgotten, or being
we're conditioned to do that.
I caught myself and being able to play a game up from there.
Yeah, it's a reconditioning.
When we have small children, and even when we have our older people, there's a point where we humor them. We go along with their games for a little, and just kind of humor them and let them have a little something, because it's no skin off of our nose. No fun to be powerful over somebody else and demand it be all your way and no way. When we open up a little bit and we listen to what somebody else might be wanting to suggest or bring into the mix, we often get an expansion that is quantum that we never expected.
True.
Michael, what was that movie? Phenomenon. Okay, so here you've got this character who realized he had this gift, this energetic gift of kinesthetic psychometry. He could make the pencil move. So people asked him, well, how do you do that? And he said, well, I don't do it. I kind of ask it to cooperate. So every time we ask, where's the money, where's the money, where's the love, where's the love, where's the health, where's the health, we're kind of holding it away from ourselves, because we don't believe that asked it the first time, and we meant it the first time we asked it.
True.
We didn't believe that there was going to be any cooperation. We weren't grateful. Grateful. We wanted it in our own bratty time, in our own bratty way.
Again, though, this is all to do with how we've been conditioned. So it's we've been conditioned to think like this. You look at hold on a second. I have to call her back.
Focus, Judy.
Yeah, okay. But, we've been conditioned to every time we look at TV or listen to the radio or, talk to people at school or whatever, we've been conditioned to have negative self-talk. We've been...
I'm not gonna argue for our limitations on that. I'm not going to let you get away with that.
No, hold on a second. I'm not finished. This is important.
Sounds like
but it is important because it's important to recognize where it comes from before you can actually change it. And what I'm talking about is, especially, you know, when I'm doing my transformational thought coaching or tarot card readings, what I take people through is I have them go into feeling into, you know, what it is that they're saying and where it's coming from, and is it helpful? Is it true? Is it kind? And then literally replace that. Again, you have to bring it out from that place, because you're always going to feel it in your body, and it's usually right in your gut. Then what you do is you move into that, you expand the love inside of that, you understand that thing that seems really horrible, that scary, scary thing that we've been pushing down for all this time is your little slave, and it's actually a thought form that has been condensed, and it needs love. And as you give the love to it, it starts to rise, and you'll feel it in your throat too. And so that's when you ask it, what do you have to offer me? What is the gift in this? Because there is a gift in everything, always, no matter how horrible the situation. There is a gift within it. And so you ask what it has to offer you. What is that? And then you set that energy free with absolute love to go and transform itself and become something new. You don't tell it what to become. You just let it free to go become something else. And then when you do that, you also give yourself the freedom to become something new as well and to transform. But it's important to understand where it comes from. If you don't understand where it comes from, you will not catch it. That is something that's really important. That's an important part of the step to get to the release, I believe.
No, I think you're right, and I have no objections to what you just said. I totally agree with that. Once you realize, though, that you have something.
Why do you gotta be so defensive, Carm?
What?
I'm just teasing you. Go ahead.
Once we realize we have that, because, at this point I'm going, where did that come from? And then I go, wait a minute, I don't really care where it came from anymore. I know that I'm doing this, and I think that I'm choosing not to do that anymore. Because sometimes these things don't come up until you have some sort of memory stimulation.
Well,
to fully be released. You go, oh yeah, that's right. Now, go ahead.
Finish your thought. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
So personally, you said, well, what have you been doing for this past year? Well, I've been having flashbacks. I've been having decades of my life. That 70s show, that was me, And so, I've been having these really wonderful flashbacks, these revisits of where some of these little chords, where these little belief chords for these behaviors, for these rules that I have in place for my own reality and my own fears, holding, these other things in place. And they're starting to surface, and I'm revisiting these events and these times, and they have much less emotional trauma attached. Same story. I'll see it, now what I'm seeing is I'm seeing actually much more of the other person's perspective, or something within the gift that I didn't recognize while I was there, of that particular situation, like you were just mentioning. So wanting to go back and do and figure it out sometimes doesn't work. Sometimes you just have to go, just screw it right now. Right now, I need relief. I need relief right now. So how do we find a way to love ourselves immediately? How to find that joy within ourselves immediately in that, that present moment of now, so that we disengage. And once you do disengage, it's kind of magical. You can float on that for a while. It's a nice little high.
like the feather. The key to it is, I love it. Eckhart Tolle says, to be in harmony with your higher self, the universe, you should either be enthusiastic and in a state of joy, or in a state of acceptance. One of those three. The third is the most crucial, right? Because it allows us to make peace with our surroundings, no matter what is going on. Right. When we're not extremely enthusiastic, or we find ourselves not in a state of joy, because it might not be perpetual for everybody. I don't think it's perpetual for anybody where they're in this constant state of joy all the time. That's weird. It'd be awesome, but I've never met anybody that's like that.
Right.
But the key is your ability to spot those things when thoughts come into your mind. Thoughts are fleeting. When they come into your mind and they have the ability to, you start to relate to them. It starts to suck you in. You start to identify yourself by your thoughts, and you get in a lot of that what did you call it? Negative self-talk. And when you have the ability to spot those things, then they lose their control over you. It's like basically putting your ego on a leash, and anytime that your ego tries to come into your mind and fool you, you have the ability to spot it. And when you just the very process of just simply spotting it takes its power away, because when you spot it, then you have the ability to allow it to continue, or to transmute it into something else.
Right.
And transmutation of energy is one of the biggest keys and one of the biggest tools that you have. And who, once they've spotted it, would ever say, I know this isn't taking me anywhere, but I'm going to let it continue anyways. That all of a sudden is no longer an option. It becomes you're not capable of doing it once you have the ability to spot it and see it for what it is.
Right, because you realize at that moment that you want to feel better than how you feel with that thought.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. You might try to confuse yourself. You might see it and you start analyzing it. Yeah, you try to figure it out. You're knocking it back and forth like a ping pong match, and you're just having trouble. But at the very least, you have the ability to not allow it to take control. Analyzing things is one thing, but allowing thoughts to totally take over your psyche, your consciousness, and your state of well-being is another, because it's a slippery. That's a slippery slope. It's here
it is a slippery slope, but it's no different than that. It's no different when you're looking at the bad news within yourself than it is looking at the bad news in the outer reality, thinking that the boogeyman's out to get us, and we're all going to die, we're all going to die, we're all going to die. So it's the same. It's actually the same healing. But if we once. This is what Eckhart Tolle talks about all the time. Once you find that presence, that now presence, the rest of the world kind of starts humming with that acceptance. It starts humming with that sense of peace, that placidity that gives you the rest, until you decide you want to expand a little further and scrape up another, plot of land and plant some seeds for something new. So I think that most people who are willing to have these kinds of conversations are doing just fine. They're doing really well. They're asking out loud, and I know that when I ask out loud, 3 or 4 people will show up. I don't know who it's going to be, but I'll say, help! I've fallen. I can't get down. I can't get up.
Well, it's interesting. Mystified in the chat room said peer pressure and fear of ridicule keep most people from growth. He didn't say the exact same thing on the end because the scroll went too fast, but peer pressure and fear of ridicule. And I think that is probably the biggest dampener to one's expansion, is worrying about what your friends are going to think of you. And, I see that in people, and I literally can feel the heaviness of that when I see people. And that's why, when I go out, it doesn't matter where I go or what I'm doing. If it feels right, the conversation comes out. More often than not, if people want to hear this, because it's a remembering, again, and it feels familiar on some level. I can't even tell you how many times I'm, going through whatever it is that I'm going, and I'm saying, how does that feel for you? And they're like, strangely enough, it feels really good. I mean, it feels right. And I'm like, that's because it is who you are. You know this information. You've just been conditioned and taught away from it. So that's why it's like not taking something new on. You're literally, you're cracking your own shell and letting your own light shine, and your light is filled with this information of who you are. And it's love. That's what it is.
It's love. It is. It's self-love and self-acceptance. And one of the things that I like to, when I think of the tools that I use, you know, it's just like Dumbo's magic feather. Speaking of feathers, it's just like Dumbo's magic feathers. You know, when he dropped his feather, and the little mouse said to him,
Feather.
I just gave you the feather so that you would try to believe it. So you know, everything that we do out there that hopefully we enjoy, not the things that we're using to crutch on that keep us in our state of ignorance, in our state of denial, in states of fear beliefs, but that help us to expand. You know, sometimes your friends have to hand you Dumbo's magic feather, you know, and go, yeah, let's take this. This will fix everything, I promise, you know, when that actually can come from yourself. And if you did it in the morning and you did it in the afternoon and you did it in the evening, I'm talking about, you know, setting your intentions forth out loud, use your right words, you know, set and just step back and trust that the reality that you exist in is quite conducive to your survival, your spiritual survival. That is.
Hey, Carmel, what did because you went all Transformer on us when you said that, and somebody at campus, Dijon, said, "What did the mouse say?" And I didn't hear it either.
The mouse said to Dumbo, flap your wings, flap your ears, use your ears. You can fly, and you can fly. And he's like, you know, he's gonna splatter, and he's freaking, and his little eyes are going, what? He goes, I tricked you. You could always fly. I only gave you the feather so you would believe in yourself.
Oh, cool.
Come on, people, you haven't seen Dumbo?
Oh, yeah.
It's a travesty.
And he goes, wait a minute. Yeah, and he straightens out his little ears and he starts having some fun with the people who were, you know, around him. So you know, we're all Dumbo, and we all have to grab. We're all Dumbo, and we're all the translators. We're all the mouse too, you know. Yeah. Mamas do that. Oh, baby, you're just the most beautiful child in the whole world, you know. And they have a tooth missing, you know, they're 8 years old at that funny little awkward stage, and, you know, and they look in the mirror and they go, I have a tooth missing. Oh, you're the most beautiful child, and that's Dumbo's magic feather, you know.
Wait, my mom always told me I was the most beautiful child. What the heck's going on here?
And
did other people hear that too?
Right. The rest of us are all lying.
You're the most beautiful in the world.
Judy, do we have any callers?
Yeah, we do actually. I was just getting to
callers.
that. We've just been like going and going and going.
This is an awesome chat.
Yes, it has been. And definitely I want to get to what's going on with my journey of joy too before the end of the show. I'd like to. And in that, Jerry is here, and she, of course, has a poem for us. So let's bring her on.
Okay.
Hey,
Jerry's like,
hello.
Jerry, you're busting out poems every day these days?
I've got a whole book of them, and then I write more as well.
Oh, that's how that works.
There's one just going to be published on the Facebook, IUV Facebook page, because I was asked to write one especially for that, about paradox.
Can I get one especially for my blog, please?
Yes.
Jerry, don't play favorites.
Absolutely. You just have to tell me what sort of thing you want it to say, and
let me get my burp cloth out here and burp him.
I mean, I love DZ and I love Holly and all, though. They're my soul sisters. I love them, but come on, Jerry, hook a brother up.
Listen, whatever you need. That's what Poems by Jones is all for. You just tell me what you want to say, and out it comes in rhyme.
Absolutely, you do an awesome job.
Yeah. So
we were talking. Jerry and I were talking yesterday because I've got this this kind of new vision of what I want to do, and taking my journey out on the road. And she came. She's like, hold on a second. And she comes back and she's like, check this out. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, it's amazing. So go for it, girlfriend.
All right. So you were talking about people's journeys, and And I was like, well, yeah, I've got a poem called The Journey. So it probably was something to do with my journey. So here it is, The Journey. What is the purpose of our life on earth? What sort of effort is it really worth? To find out what and why and how, I really want to find out now. Life is a journey is what I know, to find a place where one can flow and find one passion to help and serve. This is what we all deserve. We are here for each other, this humanity, and to serve and love our deity, to leave this planet with lessons learned, experiences had, and life points earned. Very short and sweet and simple.
Love it.
Very
sweet. Love it.
You a round of applause.
So,
Jerry.
While I'm here, since
right to the point.
Oh, Chris went and kind of ran off and doing his thing. And do you remember the day he was on your show and he asked me to write a poem about shoveling shit?
Yes.
And I thought this might be a good place to share it because it's kind of silly.
Okay, cool.
Right, so here it is.
Shovel shit, girl.
Here we go. A thing that throws people for a loop is when I say I like to scoop poop. Actually, they laugh more about it when I say I shovel shit. Shit's a thing that goes with the flow, and shoveling it is more fun than you'd know. You see, shit has a purpose. It nourishes the land. This is something we must understand. So remember this important thing. Think about it. What would we do if we had no shit? We'd be in a right mess. I don't know what I'd do. I would be bored the whole day through. Mother Earth says she loves it, especially from the horse. This type nourishes her best, of course. So give it a try and see that it's fun. Real fun for you has now begun.
Let's all go shovel some shit.
You just made pooper scoopers kind of fun.
We'll have a shoveling shit party.
Yeah, shoveling shit party. It's actually not so bad. I get to listen to all the replays of the radio when I'm out there shoveling shit every morning. I download the shows and I listen through the second time, or if I've missed them or whatever. So it's quite easy because I've got that in my subconscious. I don't have to concentrate. I just do it automatically.
That is too cool.
Kind of handy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jerry, you're hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
I'm known as a silly tart sometimes, so that's all right.
What's this life if we can't be silly? It's boring.
Well, exactly. What's it for if we can't be silly?
Silly,
So,
jolly, joyful.
jolly and silly and all the rest of
Silly
it.
Billy? Oh, I just made a rhyme.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God. Don't make... I'm not. I'm no poet.
And you know it.
Oh, God. Where's this going?
Oh, my goodness. We are getting totally silly here.
Oh, wow.
We're in joy. We're
Yes,
in
we
joy
are.
and being in joy.
We are in joy.
Enjoy.
And
Joy.
actually, you know what? It's interesting. Why don't you stay on because we've got one more caller, and guess who it is, everybody?
Oh, God, it's Randy.
Randy.
Randy. Is it?
Hold on a second. There he is. Hi, Randy.
Hello.
Hi.
I have not heard a theme for tonight's show, but I have one.
Oh,
Go
please.
for it.
Enlighten us.
Truth.
Ooh, there you go. Simple, sweet, to the point.
Deep.
And Lisa asked me last night, did I have something to share from my book, and I kind of skimmed through it real quick and read something, but I didn't feel very complete about it. But I looked through it tonight and I found something. But this book is about a conversation that happened between a woman and Jesus. And it would be questions if you could sit down face to face and ask for yourself. The one question she asked him, which is the definition of truth is, and Jesus replied, truth is that point within each individual where the inner and the outer become one. And when you recognize that truth within every person, then you have a collective truth. There's always the truth, It's just. She went on to, and I feel like I need to share this for some reason, but she went on to ask him about the book of Revelations. You know, there's always been this controversy about the book of Revelations and what's going to happen. And Jesus answered this question. He said, the book of Revelation is a great deal more than a book of prophecy. It is a timeless revelation about the soul's fulfillment of a divine plan, along with the perilous demise of all that is false as negative possibilities fall away in the light of truth. This book is not subject to the normal pitfalls of prophecy because it does not center its meanings on the temporal probabilities of life, nor is that the intent of its message. This sacred document has been greatly misunderstood to be an unfolding drama of external events, essentially political in nature. Certainly, a profound transmutation of the human soul would be impossible without correlations and manifestations within outer forms of reality. Therefore, some physical phenomena will accompany the drama, especially considering that the very elements that fall to dust will be the structures of worldly dominance. This book foretells the point of critical mass when humankind must confront its destiny. Mankind cannot claim full estate with the Father until all that was created through unconsciousness and disconnection is first released. False identities, false meanings, and unworthy structures will fall away as the soul is empowered to manifest its true covenant. This is a glorious event to be approached in love rather than fear. And as hearts prepare for it, external consequences will be modified as well. What is to unfold is crucial and inevitable to the destiny of man. No one is exempt. However, there is a choice in how one receives the unfoldment. Those who approach it with love will find the ultimate bridge to fulfillment.
Wow. Jesus was one insightful dude.
I'm telling you what, Jesus is so down on the church and the way they're trying to bring people under fear in this book. I mean, I'm going to explain it again. This book is a conversation that happened between a woman and Jesus while she painted his picture.
Yeah, I remember that.
Go ahead and give us the name of that book again. I've got to find that on Amazon.
The website that you can go and order the book directly is called Love Without End. I mean, you can go directly there and order the book, and it's written by Glenda Green, and it's about a conversation she had with Jesus.
Wow.
Well, I'm absolutely loving everything that I've heard from it so far. Just absolutely.
And you haven't even heard a fraction of it. I mean, this book is so, it has become, it merges the East and the West of division of religion is no longer there. Because
Thanks, Jerry.
It brings everything together.
Wow. I got to read that. Incredible.
Yeah, Jerry just posted a link to it on the chat room.
Wow.
Looks like I got it right, see?
Love Without End.
Thanks,
Yeah.
sweetie.
Yeah, it works
that's
too. I clicked on it.
Randy.
Yes.
Yes.
Ask Randy a question. I want to hear. What do you got for him, Judy?
Well, actually, what I want to say is that I'm seeing that the numbers have like risen to like 25.
Yeah,
you're a rock star, man. How's that feel?
My brother is calling me superstar.
Superstar. That's that girl on Saturday Night Live, Superstar.
Molly Shannon, yeah.
Superstar.
I'm gonna smell the finger, sorry.
It's amazing.
I'll never.
It's really amazing.
Ever.
Oh, Randy.
That is.
We love you, man.
Yeah, big time.
I love you guys too. And I started listening to the show tonight, and all I could hear was the word truth. It just kept coming to the front of the program. And I want to share something, guys. I don't know if anybody's thought about this, but when we first started having all these radio programs, there was so much interference, and that has totally almost disappeared.
Yes, I thought about that.
Yeah. And everybody that the majority of the people that were causing the interference were overpowered by the love, and they decided that they either changed or they left. And they couldn't take it. They couldn't take it. But big time big ups on the truth thing. I mean, that's pretty indicative of the times that we're in right now.
Yeah.
You know, the truth is coming to the surface. It's coming to the surface to be reconciled, whether people are ready for it or not. And it's watching it manifest in all its myriads of shapes and forms for everybody individually in its own perfect way is fascinating. Oh my God, it's unreal.
You know, the word that keeps coming to my mind. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
Something else to add to it is, you know, we used to hear about the apocalypse all the time, the end of the world, the apocalypse. That's disappeared.
Well, and you know, the word itself just means the lifting of the veil.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
The revealing
That's what that
is.
word means. So, you know, it's, and people are no longer, like, going that direction because, I mean, just what I've seen on Facebook over the last couple of years, and especially the last year or so, the difference in the tone of what people are putting out and what they are focusing on is so different and so much more positive. When you were talking about
perfectly.
Yes.
You stated it perfectly. Love is who we are.
That's exactly true. And it's interesting because the word that keeps coming to my mind when I'm hearing these conversations is blowback. And I know that there was a movie that came out called Blowback, and it has to do with fire. And that in itself is significant because fire is the burning away of the old. It's the burning away of, you know, the undergrowth that is no longer needed. And it's also whatever you put out there.
Bad.
Yeah, no, it's not, and it's whatever you put out will be blowing back at you almost immediately. There's no time between what you put out and what you get back anymore.
No, that's the manifestation.
Yeah, it's instant manifestation, just like you said. Absolutely.
And you know, a big epiphany for me, realizing when I finally realized that love is not something that we give or we receive from others. It's an energy. It's an energy that we embody. We are love. The universe and everything in creation is love. When you embody a state of love, you inherently love everyone and everything around you, no matter what they look like, who they are, what they say. When you embody that state of love, you naturally reciprocate it out to the cosmos.
Love with a capital L is the power of the universe. There is no other power. That is the only power of the universe. Yeah,
it's you're either in love or you're in the forgetting of it.
Exactly, and we've always shared love with a small L, which is the Valentine's Day stigma that we've always carried around love. And when people hear the word love, they always revert to that Valentine's Day effect of love. It's not that. It's a power. It's the power of the universe. And something else about the point of truth. The point of truth is that point within each individual where the inner and the outer becomes one. And Jesus goes on to say it's the 0 point. It's that point of stillness within each individual.
I love it. It makes perfect sense. I can't wait to get this book. It's like ding, ding, ding. All of a sudden it's like, okay, girlfriend, you need to get that book now.
Well, I love you guys. That's all I had to share. I just felt like that I need to share that.
Well, tell Ricky we said hi.
I will.
Bye, Randy. We love you, man.
Bye.
All right, bye, sweetie.
Bye.
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 Bye, Jerry girl.
Bye.
Bye, Jerry.
Bye. Talk to you soon.
You did that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, funny. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. This is really interesting. And, you know, one more thing, too. We've got a little bit more time. There was something that you said early on, Brian, about, you know, how, you know, you're kind of new to this scene or whatever. And what I'm realizing is that there is, you know, just like Heather says, this is not about time. This is about events. Everything now is about events. There is no time frame. You can't say I'm going to have this done here or this is going to be done there or whatever, because it is a matter of the events unfolding, and each one of us is creating those events by our intent, by what we put out there, and by, you know, the the calling for it, the calling forth of it.
Hey.
I think Randy doesn't know he's still on the air.
Oh, I thought I had him off, and okay, sorry, Randy, I didn't take you off, and I thought I did.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I also think that, the amount of time has become definitely so much more of an illusion now than it ever was before in my life, and I think that anybody that is waking up right now, they're undergoing a quickening. Like I've would say that I had my big breakthroughs as far as my awakening back in 2010, but the amount of growth and the amount of learning, the amount of experiences, and the amount of opportunities for expansion that have happened during that time, it's a lifetime's worth,
Absolutely.
crammed into, a couple of years' time. And I think that, that's kind of an illustration for how things seem to be non-linearly, when I say this, speeding up, because it is this great quickening, it is this great growth, it is this great expansion. There are these energies that are coming up that need to be reconciled, whether it be relationships or jobs or fears that we're holding on to, or doubts or worries or what have you, because we're being put in this is how I see it anyways. Humanity is preparing itself to ultimately be in a position where we finally let all these things go once and for all. And that's what I call the event, and who knows exactly how. We're in it as far as I'm concerned right now. We're in the event.
Yeah, the event showed up in your reading. I did a tarot card reading for Brian just before the show. And it showed up for you, and it showed up, what happened right afterwards too,
Yep. Yeah. With the death card?
Yep.
Yeah. Did we talk about that already,
No.
or was it just with Carm before the show?
Yeah.
So the death card came up, and I started freaking out.
And it was the outcome card.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, okay, I really need to start enjoying every single moment like it's my last, because it very well may be. No, the death card Judy could probably explain it better than me, but it represented a transformation.
Absolutely.
And kind of like the old self, or the 3D self, dying to be reborn with at a higher level of consciousness, let's just say, or more expanded is probably a better way of putting it.
True.
Level of consciousness. Higher and lower is somewhat of a judgment call, but that resonates for me big time. I feel like that I've been undergoing an extreme transformation, especially in the last couple of months since I got back from Africa, but definitely in the last 6 months. And what's awesome is that when one person is experiencing something, you can be guaranteed that it's also being experienced on a mass level everywhere around the world.
Sure.
Because I'm a sample audience. I'm a sample size taken from the 7 billion. And considering no thought is original, it all comes from the collective consciousness, then that means no experience in transformation is original either. And that means that there's an incredible amount of people experiencing the very thing that we, us, the people that are listening to this call are also experiencing. Yeah,
but through their own unique signature. You are doing it absolutely uniquely on your own, through yourself, I should say, but you're picking up on the information all around you, but you are bringing through an absolutely unique version of it, which expands the whole of all that is. Each person, every thought we have is an expansion of all that is, literally, and that's what we're here for. We're here to expand the all that is through every thought that we have, every experience, and there is no judgment with any of those. And what was wonderful about your reading was I actually pulled another card on top of that one and didn't turn it over until the end, and that one was the Chariot card, and that it was all about the moving forward in a massive way after having integrated the dark and the light within.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Because I used to judge darkness. I used to see things as bad. I used to see things as negative or wrong or any variation thereof, right? Because they're all the same thing. And I don't anymore. Because when you realize that in order to be able to experience light, you have to be able to understand the darkness. And considering everything comes from the light, everything, even darkness, then you create the ability to take out the judgment of every experience as being bad or wrong. Wrong, bad, all those things are all subjective. What's right for me could be wrong for you. What's bad for me could be good for you. So what a breakthrough it is when we stop judging things that happen in our life as good, bad, right, or wrong, and we start seeing it from a more expanded perspective, whereas it all, just like we talked about before, it all has purpose. It all has meaning. It's all based on some greater design that we participated in at another level, probably before we came here. And it's all about the experience of it for the experience and the opportunity to be able to grow as a result. But we touched on something a little while ago that I think we could probably spend the last. I don't know if we have any more callers, but we
actually have one more. But this is really interesting. I'm like going, what is this?
Huh.
We do have somebody that just called in with their hand raised, and their phone number is 111-111-1111.
Wow, that's easy to remember.
I don't think it's a real phone number, but it could be interesting. Shall we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's go for it. Hello, 111-111-1111.
Hi. Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Hugh. I'm calling from the center of the universe, Ashland, Virginia.
Oh, really?
Oh. I like that.
That's what they call it. It fits in nicely with my truth, but I'm standing in my truth, and it's such an insightful show tonight because we really all have to tell our stories, because bits and pieces of them will really help a lot of other people when they hear it.
Absolutely.
And I love the title of your show tonight, too, because, and what you were saying about the book, about the truth, because that's definitely something that you have to work with yourself. You can't hide from the truth. You can't play games and put out false information. And
sure.
You can saying you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool God, and it's going to come back on you eventually. So you better live in truth and care and share with one another. But I empowered the word joy on January 1st, 2011, and there's a hidden meaning in the word, which you discover by creating a word from each of the letters in the word joy. And when you do that, you find the hidden meaning is Jesus optimizes you.
I like that acronym.
Cool.
Yeah, and if I can share my name, you might see a lot of very interesting things that I'm doing, because my big mission and vision is actually bringing spirituality into global economics and combining it with unconditional love, making everything transparent, ethical, legal, moral, forcing companies to be more responsible for their employees, their customers, the environment, and the community. In the process, I'm looking to empower women globally as well as indigenous people.
Wonderful.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
If you just Google my name, you'll see all kinds of things, even a letter from President Obama to me on a blog, the word creativity777.com, which has a couple other poems on there too. And my name is Hugh, H-U-G-H, and the last name is Traulsen, T like Tom, R-A-U-L-S-E-N as in Nancy. And I've had a lot of bizarre experiences throughout my life, which include UFO, paranormal, and near-death. I have a blockbuster book and movie and many other books looking to come out. And the bottom line in everything, as we keep coming back to, is unconditional love. That's what we're here to learn. That's what we're here to help each other with.
Amen,
yeah,
brother.
But we're here to discover that we are.
Hugh, is this your first time calling into the show?
It is. I see. Do you have a connection to Lisa Harrison? Or?
A little bit one, yes. I'm on her show on Monday and Tuesday nights.
Yeah,
okay.
Lisa.
I used to call into a show, Oculus Radio.
That's where the Collective Imagination was birthed. We had our 1 year anniversary last night on the Collective Imagination, but it all started on Oculus Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to take part in that in the beginning too, but it sort of fell apart. I love the way your show is flowing. It's a lot of excellent information.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, Lisa's doing some amazing, amazing things with this whole 5D Media Network that this show is on. She has one each. Well, she has given this to other people as well, but she has one show on every day of the week on this the network on that the show is on. So I would highly suggest you take a look at those. They're all incredibly amazing.
Yeah, there's a number of different things. I'm going to direct you to one main site because there's a lot of PDF file documents, and I love to back up things that I talk about to show that I'm speaking from a factual point, not just a fantasy standpoint. But after the name Hugh, H-U-G-H, Traulsen, T-R-A-U-L-S-E-N, look for where it says Synchro Mystic Encounters and click on that. And you'll even see a front-page Wall Street Journal article I was written up in 1983 where I exposed the former federal government bureaucrat for fraud. Indirectly, it eventually led to the resignation of Jim Wright from Speaker of the House in shame, the third highest office in the country. That's one person. So imagine what a few people can do together.
Yay.
Big
cool,
time.
Man. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Herculean effort. Thank you for calling in. We really appreciate you, man, and for your service to humanity and all those amazing causes that you represent. So.
Well, that's what we're here to do, and just to be of service. It's not about how much toys and things you can get, because you can't take them with you. 100 years is like the blink of an eye, and you're going to be accountable for the time you spend here, so spend wisely.
Absolutely.
Hear, hear. Thanks for calling, man.
That was awesome. Take care, man.
All right. Thank you. Take care, and God bless everyone.
Keep coming back. It's lovely seeing you again.
Yeah, that was nice.
Cool. I like his energy.
Yeah. Very cool. Wow.
We only have about 13 minutes. I was going to ask each of you individually. We touched on it a little bit, not as much as we wanted to last night. What intentions you are setting for yourselves for the next year?
Well, I guess I can go ahead and at least start with this. But honestly, my intention is to be in joy, and to be of service. Actually, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to be of service. I'm here to assist this awakening, this rolling out of this opening up into the new paradigm. And with that, aside from thank goodness, and I'm incredibly grateful for this show and to have you and all my wonderful guests. Thank you, Carmel. But I've been kind of prompted also to take this on the road and to go to communities all around wherever it is. I'm thinking of starting on the East Coast, maybe moving down during the wintertime, down south, because that would just make a whole lot of sense. Go to communities where somebody has already set up a meeting with people and have this conversation. Literally take the conversation out on the road and really talk about what's going on with the One People and with OPPT and who you are as a spiritual being, and how this has all come to where it is, where it's all possibly going. It all depends on you, because whatever each person becomes inside, realizes they are inside, I should say, is how they're going to experience this. I really feel that each person will experience this differently. And what I want to do is I want to help people get to a place of being absolutely as clear and in the love that they are, and understanding what they need to understand to make these things happen. And there's so many wonderful tools that have been shared with us to help this thing unfold. And I want to bring that out as well. I'll talk more about it on next week's show. I know everything is in such a huge state of flux right now, and I know that while, this is what I want to do and I can feel it happening, I don't know the time frame of it. I've got a vehicle that's really old and the tires are bald and, all that kind of stuff, and I would need to definitely put out a call for help and assistance. But I also know that there are a lot of things that are going to be taking place within the next couple of weeks to months, and in my opinion, it's almost as if I need to flow through like that feather.
The feather, like the feather.
Exactly. And then have that open up in front of me. But really what I want to do is I want to be in service to humanity. That's what I'm here for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. How about you, Carm?
Oh, let's see. Well, I don't know. I haven't. I have things that I would like to do, like everyone else. I have things that I would like to contribute and participate with. And at this particular point, all I know for sure is that I'm streamlining my life. I'm going to have Japanese lifestyle. And then I'll be moving again. I feel another relocation coming. So I'm willing to go along for the adventure, for the fun of it. I'm willing at this point to not throw too many harpoons out into the future, and cable myself to those kinds of thoughts. Especially when I relax and something my way that I didn't even think of,
the better question for you, Carm, because I know you're kind of like me. If I asked you to create a 5-year plan, you'd probably look at me like a confused puppy dog. What intentions do you set for your day? Because I know, the Empress of Time, your work revolves around living life in the moment, but you've talked about pre-paving your day, and I'm curious because I know the intentions that I set for myself in the morning and in meditation, but I'm always curious to hear what others do, because it very well may give me some golden nuggets that I don't apply into my own practice. Oh, by the way, real quick before I forget, Judy, Bobby Peck said, "Tell Judy if she needs a driver, he's in."
That's too cool. I love it. Thank you, Bobby.
Go ahead though, Carm.
Well, I use you can tap, you can do whatever you want. Often I start before I even pull the covers down. Sometimes I start at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning if I'm tossing and turning. But it usually goes something like this, and I do have this posted on my website. I did make a video for pre-paving, and this is a broad spectrum pre-paved script that I use so that I don't get too specific, so that I get stubborn and attached. I am creator being, no matter where I go or what I am doing or who I am with. It is my dominant intention to have immediate and ongoing ease of access to my absolute value for the allowing of joy and expansion that I am wanting in my life. And I attract only those beings, both physical and non-physical, that are in harmony with my joyful expansion in co-creative exuberance. That's an example. And that really much kind of clears the path for just about everything.
Anything. Yep.
Yeah.
I like that. Very open-ended.
So, sometimes I'll say, and tonight, I don't know, I feel like going out to dinner. Maybe somebody will call me and we'll have dinner. And often enough, it happens. So, setting forth the broad view of the intentions of what you want for the day. Abraham talks about writing a note to the cosmic concierge. and I used to do this all the time when I first started to learn how to prepave. I said, okay, I'm going to write, and I had a smartphone and it had a notepad, and so I would spend some time in the commuter van going to work, and I would put what I wanted. Now, when I really started to really believe that this was real, that I was in control of this, that my whims were to be fulfilled. All my whims are being fulfilled. I just haven't been very selective about and deliberate about which ones I wanted to have manifest. So I've been creating by default, like many other beings in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I said one day, okay. And I wasn't feeling particularly wonderful because I was going to a job that I really wanted out of. And I was learning how to focus on the things that did bring me joy. So I said at the end of my regular prepave, I put in some specifics. And one of the specifics I put in was an afterthought. And it was just a test. And it was like a little cosmic niggle. I said, and I don't know how you're going to do this, but today, I sure would like to be told how beautiful I am. 4 times that day, and into the evening, there were 4 different people, 4 different opportunities. People just looked at me and went, wow, Carm, you look really good today. And it took me till the third one to figure out what had happened. Because the first one I went, oh, that was nice. The second one was, oh, that's kind of weird. When I'm feeling kind of punk, And then the third one, I went, oh, my God, this was the prepave I put out there this morning. Ding, ding.
Wow.
See, the thing is, you have to detach from how it's going to happen.
Yes, that is so
Just
important.
want what you want and get the hell out of the way.
Well, that's what I was trying to get at a little earlier, too. We've only got a few more minutes, but about putting the intention out there about what feeling you want to have and letting go of any possibility of how it's supposed to look, because what you can create and what universe can create are 2 very different things most of the time. And when you open that up and let the universe take over, man, it can just be phenomenal, and almost always is.
Almost, yeah. It always is, yes.
Well, it depends on the clarity of your conviction.
Yes, so realizing your desires and then trusting that the cosmic forces are cooperative. That's the law of attraction. They are cooperative. They're going to use the law of time. They're going to in a focused physical reality. We use that imaginary linear time platform to try to sort out the things that we are needing to develop as our spiritual skills, our multidimensional skills. And so, that it's that now moment presence is really what. Yeah. That's my objective.
For me, it's about setting an intention and then letting it go. And when you get stuck on okay, where is it? Right. You're putting out that wanting energy.
Exactly.
And when you want something, you're manifesting more wanting it as opposed to having it. And when you really truly have the ability to let that go, like when the intention I set is I stopped or meditating or setting the intention for things. So now it's more of I set the intention to manifest the universe's will for me, because I know that the God in the universe's will is more powerful than that of my own. I set the intention to see the energetic trail as it's laid before me and have the clarity to know that it is what it is when I see it, so I have the ability to walk confidently through the door when the door is shown. And then also for the highest good and greatest growth of all that is in service to the whole in unity. And just like the one that's kind of just another way, Carm said it much more eloquently than I did, but it leaves everything very open-ended to anything happening in your life, so long as it's in the greatest good and your highest good and your greatest growth for your higher self and your expansion, and then let the universe take over from there, and it works every time. Yeah. But we're down to our last. I'm going to say
we're down to
goodbye.
our last 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Bye, everybody. I love you. Thank you for listening. See you next week.
Don't
Judy,
forget
talk about all the other shows real quick.
Don't forget, we've got Elemental Evolution show on Sunday, One People on Monday, The Collective Imagination on Tuesday, Co-Coincidences on Thursday, Remembering on Friday, Saturday, The Transitioning. How was that? Bye, everybody.
Awesome.
Love you all.
Bye, Judy. Thanks, Carm.
Bye,
everyone.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Love you.